Tucson, Arizona, a place where the desert sun casts long shadows and secrets often hide in plain sight. This is where Charles C. Morgan, a respected escrow agent, vanished without a trace. It was March 22nd, 1977. An ordinary day that took a sinister turn. Morgan, a man known for his meticulous nature, left his office, never to be seen alive again, or so everyone thought. Morgan's disappearance sent shockwaves through the community. He was a man of routine, a devoted family man. His sudden absence was deeply unsettling. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Hope slowly dwindled, replaced by the grim reality that Charles Morgan was likely gone forever. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. After 6 long weeks, a glimmer of hope emerged from the darkness. Charles Morgan reappeared, seemingly out of thin air. He was found disoriented and confused, wandering along a highway hundreds of miles from home. The joy of Morgan's return was quickly overshadowed by an unsettling truth. He was not the same man who had vanished. He was withdrawn, distant. The spark in his eyes had dimmed, replaced by a haunting emptiness. His wife, Ruth, noticed the change immediately. He was a stranger in her husband's body. Gone was the loving husband, the attentive father she knew. In his place stood a ghost, tormented by unseen demons. He refused to speak of his ordeal, his silence amplifying the mystery surrounding his disappearance. The details of those missing weeks remained a tightly guarded secret, locked away in the recesses of his mind. Ruth tried desperately to penetrate the wall her husband had erected. She yearned for the man she knew, the man who had promised to grow old with her, but her pleas for answers were met with silence, his haunted eyes reflecting a pain she couldn't reach. The uneasy peace of the Morgan household was shattered in June 1977. Charles Morgan vanished again. This time, there were no frantic searches, no glimmers of hope. The dread that had gripped Ruth Morgan months before returned with a vengeance. This time she knew deep in her heart that her husband was gone for good. Days later, the grim discovery confirmed her worst fears. Charles Morgan's car was found abandoned in the Arizona desert. Inside, a scene that chilled investigators to the bone. Morgan's lifeless body lay slumped over the steering wheel. A gunshot wound marked a tragic end to a life shrouded in mystery. The official investigation moved swiftly, perhaps too swiftly. The authorities ruled Morgan's death as suicide, citing the gunshot wound and a series of cryptic notes found in his car. But for Ruth Morgan and her children, the pieces didn't fit. The notes found in Morgan's car added another layer of intrigue to the already puzzling case. Scrawled in his own hand, they hinted at a dark secret, a conspiracy that reached far beyond the confines of Tucson. Some dismissed them as the ramblings of a troubled mind, but others saw a desperate plea for help, a cryptic message from beyond the grave. One note in particular sent chills down the spines of investigators. Had to kill Green Eyes. Who was Green Eyes? Was this a confession, a clue, or simply the product of a mind pushed to its breaking point? The answer, like so many others in this case, remained elusive. Despite the cryptic notes and the many unanswered questions, the police remained steadfast in their ruling of suicide. They pointed to Morgan's erratic behavior after his first disappearance as evidence of a troubled mind. The gunshot wound, they argued, was self-inflicted, case closed. Ruth Morgan refused to accept the official narrative. She knew her husband, and she knew he wasn't suicidal. Driven by grief and a burning desire for the truth, she embarked on her own investigation. She pored over the details of his case, searching for clues that the police might have missed. She was determined to clear her husband's name and bring his killer to justice. Her investigation led her deep into the world her husband had inhabited, the world of escrow, real estate, and high-stakes transactions. She soon discovered that Charles Morgan had been involved in some shady dealings, working with powerful individuals who operated in the shadows. Was this the reason for his sudden disappearance? Had he stumbled upon something he shouldn't have seen? Whispers of organized crime and government corruption swirled around the case. Some speculated that Morgan had become entangled in a web of deceit that stretched far beyond the Arizona desert. As Ruth delved deeper into her husband's life, she uncovered a chilling detail. A mysterious phone call Charles had received just days before his second disappearance. The caller, a woman with a chillingly calm voice, identified herself only as Green Eyes. The call was brief, but its impact on Charles was undeniable. He became withdrawn, his fear palpable. Green Eyes. The name echoed in Ruth's mind. Could this be the same Green Eyes mentioned in Charles's cryptic note? The police had dismissed the note as the ramblings of a desperate man, but Ruth saw a connection, a thread that could unravel the entire case. Who was this mysterious woman, and what hold did she have over Charles? Was she a witness, an accomplice, or the mastermind behind it all? The identity and motives of Green Eyes became a central focus of Ruth's investigation, a tantalizing lead in a case full of dead ends. Section 7. Echoes of other unsolved cases. As Ruth investigated, she began to see eerie parallels between her husband's case and the deaths of two other men, Doug Johnston and Danny Casolaro. Both men were investigative journalists who had been digging into allegations of government corruption and organized crime. Both had died under mysterious circumstances. Their deaths ruled suicides. Johnston had been found dead in a lake in 1980, a gunshot wound to the head. His death was ruled a suicide, but his family and colleagues suspected foul play. They believed he had uncovered information that powerful people didn't want revealed. Casolaro's death in 1991 was even more suspicious. He was found dead in a hotel bathtub, his wrists slashed multiple times. His death was also ruled a suicide, but his family and friends refused to believe it. Section 8. The Web of Suspicion. The more Ruth learned, the more she became convinced that her husband had become entangled in a dangerous web of conspiracy. The threads of his case seemed to weave through a labyrinth of powerful individuals, shadowy organizations, and government secrets. Each new piece of information only deepened the mystery, pulling her further into a world of intrigue and danger. The police, however, remained unconvinced. They dismissed the connections between Morgan's case and the deaths of Johnston and Casolaro as mere coincidence. They maintained that Morgan's death was a suicide, a tragic end to a troubled life. But Ruth refused to be silenced. She continued to speak out, to share her husband's story with anyone who would listen. She became a tireless advocate for the truth, determined to expose the secrets that had led to her husband's death. Section 9. A legacy of unanswered questions. The mysterious death of Charles Morgan remains unsolved to this day. No one has ever been charged in connection with his death, and the circumstances surrounding his disappearance and the cryptic notes he left behind continue to fuel speculation and debate. Some believe that Morgan was the victim of a random act of violence, his death a tragic case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Others maintain that he was murdered for what he knew, silenced by powerful forces determined to protect their secrets. The truth, whatever it may be, remains elusive, hidden beneath layers of time, speculation, and official silence. The case serves as a stark reminder of the power of secrets, the fragility of truth, and the enduring human need for answers. Section 10. The mystery endures. The passage of time has done little to diminish the intrigue surrounding the case of Charles Morgan. If anything, the mystery has only deepened with each passing year. New theories have emerged, old suspicions have been rekindled, and the debate over what truly happened to the Tucson escrow agent continues to rage. The case has become a fixture in true crime law, inspiring books, documentaries, and countless online discussions. Amateur sleuths continue to pore over the details, hoping to uncover the elusive clue that will finally crack the case wide open. But despite the best efforts of investigators, journalists, and armchair detectives, the truth remains frustratingly out of reach. The case of Charles Morgan stands as a testament to the enduring power of mystery, a haunting reminder that some secrets refuse to stay buried.